Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Rez Podcast, a show where we explore ideas, habits, and conversations that help us grow, think differently, and live more intentionally. I'm your host, Reza. Today, we're talking about communication, emotional intelligence, and why some highly successful people can command a boardroom but struggle to express what they need in their closest relationships. Most relationship problems are not caused by a complete lack of love. They often begin when people feel misunderstood, ignored, unsafe, or unable to communicate what is happening beneath the surface. So how do we stop expecting our partners to read our minds? How do we communicate our emotional needs without sounding demanding? And how do we remain calm and connected when a conversation becomes uncomfortable? Today's guest is Sandy Gerber, a communication coach, emotional intelligence trainer, TEDx speaker, and the best-selling author of Emotional Magnetism, a book that has received 24 international awards. Sandy helps people understand what drives them emotionally, communicate more clearly, and create stronger connections at work, at home, and in their relationships. Sandy, welcome to the Rez Podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rez. I'm excited for our conversation.
Likewise. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to just first get into this topic that I kind of introduced right now, which is people are just so good at their job at work. Like the guy is a leader at a big giant tech company, right? So clearly he knows how to communicate, but then why is it that with his wife he doesn't? So let's get right into that.
Okay, for sure. Well, I can talk about this because I was that person, right? So most of us haven't been trained in formal communication skills. We've learned to communicate by failing at it. Right. So when you look at our professional life and our personal life, we talk differently in those worlds. And so what happened for me, for example, was I was looking successful. I had the awards, the clients, the team. I was killing it from 9 to 5, but I had a failed marriage. I was burnt out. I hadn't seen my friends in weeks, So that communication incongruency was what fueled my whole passion to start learning about this stuff and understand what's going on. The pattern was me. Right? Like it's not something that just happens one day. We actually start drifting in our relationships because we choose different types of communication. So people who are professional, the heads of tech, the head of their leaders, the leaders in the world, they're high achievers. These are people that are setting a goal and nailing it. But in our personal relationships, we don't actually do it that way, right? We don't set a goal and actually charge ahead to accomplish that. We have a long-term relationship. We have regularity, right? Things like that we're not used to having in communication. So we start to drift. We stop doing what we want to do in communication unless we have tools. And that's my passion, help people to make communication more simple.
Let's go a little bit more micro. So do successful people sometimes treat their relationships like problem to manage instead of connections to experience?
I think so. I mean, I know from my personal experience, and I was an executive for a long time too. So the thing is, you have 24 hours in the day, and of that, you've got to look at it and go, who do I want to spend time with? And when you're running a business, our passion goes towards that business, right? So what's left is the person that's sitting there that has to deal with the residue of it all, right? Like you're not feeling like talking to someone after you've been doing all this stuff during the day. So we've got to put some things in practice to regulate ourselves so that we can separate professional from personal and dedicate that time with the people that we love, right? So this is the hardest thing we have to do, is we have to look at how we're communicating with the people that we love and lead and start being a little more responsible about how we're showing up.
Mm-hmm. You talk about emotional magnetism, right? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what you mean by that? And
yeah, for sure. So that episode of me kind of realizing, I'm like a fraud. I'm successful. Personally, I'm not. That set me on my path. And in that path, it was a decade of studying communication. I found this research from the 60s. And this research was so cool. It was like an Amazon spiral one night. I ended up on this book. And I found that in the 60s, they did this research on emotional motivation. What motivates people to listen and act? Like, what's fueling communication? As soon as I read it, it made sense to me, and everything started to fall into place on why I made the choices I have in my life. So I started telling people about it, just like when we hear something cool, we want to share it. So I started telling them, and it was really clumsy the way I was trying to explain it. So I simplified it. I call them 4 emotional magnets. The acronym is SAVE, SAVE, because it literally saved my life. I started using these 4 magnets, and I'll tell you what they are in a sec. I started using them in my business. I grew my business from the bedroom to a top 100 fastest growing company by using these magnets. And what it is you're understanding who you're talking to, what they need, and you're crafting your message to their magnet. That's what magnetizes their attention. So it's not manipulation. It's actually understanding what someone emotionally needs in your life, professionally and personally, and connecting with them. I did so well with that in my professional life. I thought, hey, maybe I'll try this in dating. You know, I was a single mom for 10 years. I'm like, was so sick of the dating scene. So on my first date with my now hot husband of 12 years, I asked him, you know, here are 4 magnets. Which ones are yours? What do you emotionally need to be happy in your life? And he told me, and we've been honoring that ever since for 12 years. So the thing about these emotional magnets is it's just stuff we didn't know about ourselves. And now we can understand why we're making these choices, share it with the people in our lives, people that we love and that we lead. I did it with all my teams, and you become a better leader, a better parent, better partner.
Okay, that's beautiful. And I'm very happy to hear that. So in terms of like, you talked about the first date, how soon should people be doing this? And like, how do you do this without it being like an interview, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Well, it already is kind of like an interview when you go on a date, right? You've got your list and you want to check everything off, right? You're already going through that in your head. I just kind of got exhausted by that all. And I thought, you know what? Let's just cut to the chase. What is it that you actually need to be happy in your life? And it's just so freeing to finally have that conversation with someone, right? To actually just say, what do you feel? What do you need? Instead of all the crap that we usually go through for a few dates. So asked him, you know, I said, look, I'm driven. There's 4: safety, achievement, value, and experience. And I said to him, you know, I'm driven by achievement and experience. So this is what you're signing up for, buddy. Like, I'm driven, right? I'm going to have an experience in life. You know, I want new. I want exciting. This is who you get. And he was like, well, I think I'm safety and I'm value. And I'm like, they're completely opposite. But that gave us a starting point to say, well, explain to me why you're safety. Explain to me why you're value. What does that mean? Well, how does that show up in your career choice? How does that show up in your choices in your personal life? And it opened up all this dialogue that we normally don't have. It's okay to have that. You have to take the step. The thing I tell people to do in personal or professional relationships is be curious. Ask a question. It's not going to kill you. And if you do that, it's the easiest way to create a connected conversation, right? Some of my best people in my life have come from being total strangers and me asking a kind of crazy question, you know? So the best thing you can do is just use your curiosity. And then from that, start sharing what you actually need. Once you do that, it's completely freeing. You're like, this is who I am. This is what I need. And I'm not talking about, I need a car and I need an income and I need this. I'm talking about emotionally. Do you need safety, structure, security, predictability? Do you need achievement? You're hitting goals. You're nailing things. You're moving ahead as an innovator. Do you need value, like worth, growth, significance, return on your investment? Or do you need experience, you know, creativity, curiosity, innovation, new things? So those 4 people are really different people, right? Like I have 3 siblings. We're all different magnets. And once you understand what that is for yourself, it gives you permission to be you. Finally gives you permission to be you. And then you share it with the people in your life and they're going, oh, now I know why you do what you do. You know, they have a name for it. Instead of workaholic, you're driven by achievement. Instead of boring, you're driven by safety. You know, instead of cheap, you're driven by value. You know, so it makes things so much simpler, so clearer. I'll give you one story quickly about how you can see this in little arguments we have in our relationships. So my husband came home, we ordered dinner in late. I open up the app and I'm scrolling through and I'm thinking, okay, he's got this safety emotional magnet. So he always orders the same thing, Reza. Like he never orders anything new. So I'm looking for something I know he likes. So I'm scanning through it. Okay, freshie burritos. He loves them. So I say to him, love, how about freshie burritos for dinner? And he's like, no, I can't do that. It's only 3 blocks away. And I was like, what? And then I realized value. His other emotional magnet is value. He cannot justify home delivery that's only 3 blocks away. So, you know, most of us would kind of bicker about this stuff. I just looked at him and smiled. I get him. I know what he's about. And I said to him, so Okay, your value, your safety, I get it. How far does it have to be for it to be delivered to our house, right? And he's like 5 blocks. So I just scrolled down further. I found a place that was 6 blocks away. He's happy because he's got the value emotional magnet addressed. And I'm happy because it's a new restaurant experience. So these are the things that happen in our life and while we're dating and while we're leading people. As a leader, knowing what your team member's emotional magnet is a game changer. You can be a better leader that way. You know what they actually need at the work to be happy. So it's really, really so cool.
I think I definitely need to get your book, because this is stuff that I struggle with, like at work. Like
Yeah.
I'm not so much with my like romantic relationship, knock on wood, like, but at work, this is what I struggle with. Like at my, I have a daytime job. And so, yeah, would your book help me with that? Like, it's not
Yeah.
just
Well, tell me what you're struggling with. Like, what is it when you say you're struggling?
Mhm.
What is
I
it
would
you're struggling
say
with?
just communicating in general
Yeah.
with my boss, and like, for example,
Yeah.
not being or constantly being afraid to be myself, and maybe to understand his emotional blueprint or
Magnet. Yeah.
magnet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like once you get the book, you can kind of already see, this person is driven by achievement. This person
Hmm.
is driven by this. And then what you do is you start crafting your message. So the next time you want to ask for something,
Yep.
you start thinking, not what do I say? What does he need to hear or she need to hear? So you're thinking, okay, to get this person's attention, they need to understand how this is going to tie to their magnet. So it's just like sales. How I grew my business so quickly was I
Mhm.
would meet with someone, they'd say they needed something, and I'd listen for the magnet, and then I'd craft the message. So you would turn to your boss and say, let's say you have a new idea and they're driven by achievement.
Yep.
You'd say, you know what, I think this could really position us for to beat the competition. Now they're listening, right? Because they're achievement driven. So it's really about looking at the messages. I don't know who your boss is, but I'm thinking like, and we probably don't want to get into all that detail here,
Yeah.
but I think the thing is, but even if it's a family member, like, I have this family member who has tons of money, and I said to them, like, we go shopping, and before I found out about the magnets, they would be like, oh, I don't know, it's a little expensive. And I'd be like, what? Like, you have so much money, right? But the thing is, they're driven by value. So they have to get a deal. Right? They have to. So we used to in the past call them cheap or stingy or, ridiculous. But now we understand it's just value, right? So you kind of have this empathy for these people now. You know what's driving them, and you can get over that and actually just communicate, right? To connect to them. So it's really freeing. It's really quite cool.
Oh, but Sandy, you make it seem so easy. I
It
feel like
is
you're
easy.
you're a natural and you're good at it, but like to people that can't think on their feet, for example, so witty and so quickly to be able to really communicate, what do you recommend for those folks? Like, I
Well,
mean,
here's the thing. We don't think on our feet. We're constantly thinking, right? We're constantly rehearsing what we're going to say, right? And every single thing we create in our life starts in our thoughts, right? So that's where we need to start. You don't just wake up and become confident, right? And you don't just wake up and become a leader. You have to start, think of it like 3 stages. One is you're aware. You're aware of what's going on in your head before you say anything. And there's tools you can use to help you with that. The second is you learn how to express yourself in a way that people hear you and that you're hearing what other people are saying. And then the third is you engage with people, you connect with them. So ask yourself, where am I on the steps, right? Like, am I in step 1? Do I need to work on step 2? Do I need to work on step 3? Because we tend to just think, oh, I'm just a terrible communicator. Well, you know what? Maybe you just haven't had the tools. You haven't had the skills. So first start with yourself. The conversation you are having with yourself is the conversation you're having with everyone else. You have to get clear on that. Whatever you're saying to yourself is coming out in your nonverbal communication, your body language. It's coming out in, you rehearsing or being scared to say what you really feel. All of that's coming out anyways. So first start working on yourself. And there's ways to do that. You got to regulate yourself. Like, early in my career, I was in a boardroom and I was asked to present to the board. And I was nervous. It was one of those like, Mom, I'm presenting to the boards moments, right? And basically I started talking and they came in and the CFO cut me off and he started hurling what if statements at me. And I thought, oh my gosh, what do I do? And I did what you should never do, listeners, ever. I started making up information because I just wanted to get out of there, right? And so the thing is, I didn't have a tool then. I left. I cried in my car. It wasn't pretty. And the thing is, I didn't have the tool. The tool that I use is called the EQ switch. This is what gets you into a state of mind that's emotionally intelligent so that you're responding, not reacting. This works in your personal life and your professional life. We kind of have this knee-jerk reaction. Someone says something, we react, right? But this tool helps you calm yourself enough to say what you really feel. So first thing you do is you locate, like you've been activated or triggered, you locate where that's in your body, because our emotions show up in our body before they show up in our mind. You're gonna feel it in your gut or your jaw or your hands. So you just notice where that is, and you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel activated. That's it. And then you stay present. You're not in the what ifs. And then the second thing is you name your emotion. And this is so cool. I found this research from neuroscientists at UCLA. It's called effect labeling. When you name your emotion to yourself, like I feel frustrated, I feel annoyed, whatever you feel, your amygdala, your brain's panic button, that activity calms by 50%. So you're immediately calming yourself down by saying, I feel blank. And then you just take a breath, a 7-second breath, 3 seconds in through the nose, 4 seconds out through the mouth. No one needs to know. And you choose your words. Now, you think about a leader you admire, Reza, they pause before they speak. They are thinking about how to respond, not react. And so the more you learn to do that, the more opportunities come into your life. Let's just say that.
Amazing. So I'm somebody that, like I'm pretty good at sales, let's say, but during job interviews, I get so nervous. So I'm going to apply those tactics if I ever have.
Well, I just want to jump in there on job interviews. You just got to do your body language stuff. Like that's the easiest thing. Like I know hiring right now is really tough. The job market's tough. We've got to make connection quickly. You and I made connection quickly just with a smile at each other, right? We had a nonverbal connection before we even said a word. And that's the thing is looking at how someone's sitting and mirror that, right? So do exactly what they're doing. If they're sitting forward, you sit forward. If their tone is low, lower your tone. It creates a subconscious connection that you're similar.
So wait, when you say mirror, like who is the one that has that power? Like who's mirroring who? Like for example, if you're the person interviewing me for the job, I'm the one mirroring you, or are you saying,
yes.
Yeah, obviously the person with the power, I'm mirroring the person.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to create connection with someone, mirror what they're doing, right? So if their posture's open, be open, like because subconsciously they're going to feel like you're similar, right? And already you're off to the start. So there's little tricks like that you can do. But I think the key is people are not hiring people for their skills. They're hiring them for their personality.
Especially in today's AI world, right?
Yes. And so I often say to people, I have a program coming up that basically you have to create your story. What's your story? Let's say they have 10 interviews that day. What are they walking out the door thinking about Reza? You know, I'm not saying that you're looking for a job, but basically, you know, what are they going to remember about you? It's not going to be that you did this skill or you had that experience. It's going to be something unique. You have to craft your story. And maybe that's the marketer in me, but you know, the people that I coach, it's absolutely essential today that you are already assumed you have the skills. So you're not selling yourself on your skills. And AI can do half of them anyways. So what is it? Why do they need you? Well, they need you because there's potential there, but also because they like you. Like they know that you're going to work well with the others. You're going to collaborate with people. People are going to like working with you. And the only way that we like people is when we start sharing stories.
Oh man, I love this. So do you have the Emotional Magnetism? And then I see another book. What's your?
Oh yeah, this is the Korean version of it, but I have another book coming out, Connected Conversations.
Okay.
That's my newest one right now that's coming out.
So do you help people with social skills in general as well, like for when it comes to dating, or do you help men or women mainly, or is it equal?
Everybody. I think the thing is, what I really want to do is like, I had such bad failure in my relationships, and I'm telling you, I have a phenomenal relationship. Like it's it's off the charts, right? And it's because it's full of respect, full of acceptance, and lots of fun. Like we love and adore each other, right? People may kind of go, oh, well, I don't want to hear about it, Sandy. Well, you know what? You can have that too. You just have to understand yourself a little bit better. So what I do is, I have a magnetic communication podcast. So for me, every Tuesday, I drop a 10-minute tool that you can use. Just 10 minutes. We don't have time for all this stuff, right? 10 minutes every Tuesday, listen to the podcast, and you'll have a tool that you can use to start better understanding yourself, communicating with others. There's tons, right? It just won the 2026. Pardon me?
Where do we find the podcast?
Everywhere. Spotify, Apple.
What's it called?
It's called Magnetic Communication. And it just won the 2026 Best Mindset Mental Health Podcast.
Oh my God.
So
Sandy Gerber.
Yeah, it's super cool. So it's helping people. And that was voter based, right? So people are finding it useful. And it's simple little tools you can pull out of your pocket. You know, if you're fighting with someone or need to have a difficult conversation or trying to get a job. Like I just posted one yesterday on, or Tuesday on the job interview process, how to get hired.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm gonna check that out. And it's 10 minutes long. Every episode is only 10 minutes.
No more than 12 minutes every week. Yeah.
Wait, and this is just you solo?
Just me.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Man, I gotta tell my friend Mark, what's his last name? Ronick? I forgot. Mark, he's like a podcasting guy, and I'm going to a conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's called the Empowering Podcasting Conference, EPC. And man, if you were a speaker, I think that would be so cool. But maybe I got to introduce you guys at some point.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, that's what I do. I go around and speak to people. It's what I do. This is my mission. I'm on this planet to do this. I know it, right? To help people to communicate, to connect. So yeah, that would be wonderful if you introduce us. Thank you.
I will introduce you guys for sure. It would be, I think they already have their schedule, but they might,
another time.
For sure. So Sandy, I think, so we know where to find you. I'm trying to think, we've talked a lot about a lot of things, and I'm going to check out your podcast, and and I'm going to just go there from now on and learn so much from you. It's been a pleasure. Is there anything that you want to tell us? Where do we got the book? Is it on Amazon Prime or?
Yeah, it's on Audible and it's on Amazon. Emotional Magnetism. Okay. And it's also the Audible version. I had a lot of fun because I just started ripping jokes and stuff. And then at sandygerber.com if you want some services from me and my team. But the thing that I want to tell your listeners, just be kind to yourself around communication. It's a tough world right now, and we're all hearing a lot of people talking and not in a respectful way. Be respectful to yourself and just take one tool. Just take one little tool and start using that. And you're going to find you're going to build your confidence. You're going to feel more heard. And, there's lots of resources to help you out. So just know that I'm here for you. And thanks again for having me on your show.
And sorry, I know you just said thanks again for the show and you're ending it, but I just remembered one main question I was going to ask you, right? If you could give one piece of advice to see people that are listening right now that are going through this difficulty of like online dating, let's say, and let's say you're a girl and you're like, well, this guy, is he even real or is it AI? So how do you detect inauthenticity from people and incongruency from people? If you could give some tangible tips around, for women especially, to detect incongruency in men's communication, and in my opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in the dating world online for a while, but I'm imagining it's gotten even more complicated.
Oh yeah,
with AI. And I think the thing that we've got to do is trust your gut. You have to trust your gut. You have to trust your intuition, especially women. We're really plugged in that way. So I would say that right away. And then I would look at, some of the wording that they're using and things like that. Like there's some major AI tells, right? Like you can completely tell. And then look at like the questions you're asking. Ask the harder questions first. Like don't wait ask harder questions first. Like the fact that I asked on my first date what someone emotionally needed to be happy and he didn't run away, that's a good sign, right? So you deserve to be loved and you deserve to be treated the way that you should be treated. So remember that and start acting like it so that you can ask those questions with courage and curiosity and then move on to the next person if that's not a fit.
Thank you so much, Sandy Gerber. I appreciate your time. I'm going to hit stop, and there we go.